Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome! My name is WALEO. I'm a content creator based in Berlin and I make videos about living abroad, moving abroad, travel, life in Germany in general and so on. If that's your cup of tea and that's your jam, then make sure you subscribe to this channel, support me and join this wonderful community where we share helpful and uplifting information. And if you would like to follow me on Instagram as well, it's at WALEO Chronicles. I also create content there about tips and tricks of moving abroad, life in Germany, moving to Germany and so on like that. So you can follow me. And I'm on TikTok too, believe it or not. Yes, I'm on TikTok and don't ask me what I'm doing there. I have no idea. But if you want to follow me, you can follow me on TikTok. It's at WALEO Chronicles. Now, with all that being said, oh no, I'm not done. And if you like this content, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. That's also another way to support me and all the work I'm doing on creating content on this channel, and it's free of charge for you to like this video. Thank you very much. And now let's get into the video. So in today's video, we'll be talking about what it's like living in Berlin versus what it's like living in Leipzig. If you've not watched my previous video, I went to Leipzig and I spent some time in Leipzig and I made a video about what to do in Leipzig, so you can check out that video after this one, or you can check out that video before this one, any way you want to do it. But yeah, we'll be comparing Leipzig because we like to do comparison of German cities on this channel, so we're just gonna do it. But before we do it, I would like to give a disclaimer that whatever I say, take it with a pinch of salt, because I have more insights on Berlin because that's where I'm based and that's where I've lived the longest in Germany. So of course I would have more insights to living in Berlin and less to living in Leipzig because I only visited Leipzig. So take it with a pinch of salt, and it's just for the purpose of edutainment, infotainment. So again, take it with a pinch of salt. So with that disclaimer being said, now let's get into the comparison of Leipzig versus Berlin. Let's do this. The first comparison I would like to make is the ambiance and the vibe. Yes, that's the word I'll use, the vibe of the two cities. So the first impression, as soon as I arrived in Leipzig, I already felt 1,000,000 times calmer than I would feel in Berlin. I don't know why, but this could be, most likely could be the reason that, of course, Leipzig is way smaller than Berlin. It's just 600,000 people almost, and Berlin is almost 4 million people. So of course there's more frenzy and like very fast pace in Berlin than you would find in Leipzig. But one interesting thing I found about Leipzig is it's way calmer and there is less of length. And there is less of this like frenzied atmosphere, like everybody's rushing somewhere, everybody's like, so I don't know how to explain it, like everybody has got 1,000,000 things on their plate to do and they have to hurry and get to do what they want to do. No, that atmosphere is missing in Leipzig, and I really liked that. I felt so much more relaxed and chilled in Leipzig than I ever did in Berlin. So that's one thing about Leipzig and Berlin that you should be aware of. Berlin, you will have a lot of frenzy and a lot of like, I don't know what word can we use to describe this feeling? When the words are missing, like you use body language, right? So this is missing in Leipzig, but is a lot in Berlin. It's ridiculous. Next point. Another thing I will talk about for the two cities is that, and this I know for a fact, is that actually in rents are way cheaper in Leipzig than they are in Berlin. Berlin, the rents are going crazy. I don't know what is going on. I think, of course, it's not like we can all hypothesize, I cannot pronounce that word, but we can all say that it's because so many people are moving to Berlin and the demand is increasing and the supply is not increasing. I don't know why they're not building more buildings in Berlin, but I'm sure there's definitely a reason why, because we're in Germany. They must always have a reason for everything. But the rents in Berlin are just the rents are just going crazy and crazy and crazy every year. It's not getting better at all. The lucky people are the people who have an old contract and they've been living in Berlin for a long time, so they still have good rental contracts. But if you just moved to Berlin in the last 3, 4, 5 years, the rents are just going crazy. But in Leipzig, on the other hand, the rents are quite affordable. I made a video about the cheapest cities in Germany to live in, and Leipzig is on that list. If you want to watch the full video, I will leave it in the description box, or I would link it somewhere, or at the end of that video, so you can watch that video. I think I broke down the cost of living and renting in some of these cities. I don't remember exactly what I did in that video, but I think that information is there, so you should watch that video. But the point I'm trying to make is that living in Berlin versus living in Leipzig, you will spend way more on your rent in Berlin, if you even find something, let's start from there, than you would in Leipzig. The rents are cheaper in Leipzig. Another interesting thing that I observed about Leipzig is that I will lump these two topics in one: the cleanliness and the aesthetics of the city. So my opinion on the aesthetics of Berlin is nothing new. If you've watched some of my videos, you already know that I think Berlin is not beautiful, and many people think so as well. Berlin is not the most beautiful city in Germany, that's just a given. But also related to that is that the fact that Berlin has such a huge population means that the city is not also the cleanest city in the world. It's quite dirty actually. But for Leipzig is way cleaner than Berlin, and also in terms of aesthetics, it's also much more, in my opinion, much more beautiful and pleasing to the eye than Berlin is. Again, this could be tied to the fact that Leipzig is so much more smaller than Berlin, and it's easier to probably manage these things. I don't know, but it's just what I observed about Leipzig versus Berlin. So again, it seems like Leipzig is winning in this video. But like I said previously, take what I say with a pinch of salt, because I spent way less time in Leipzig than I have in Berlin. So I have more insights of Berlin. I have more insights on Berlin than I do about Leipzig. Another thing I would like to talk about, because I like talking about public transportation a lot, seems like, I don't know why, but I observed that the public transportation in Leipzig is so much more modern looking, much newer. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. It looks newer than the one in Berlin. Don't get me wrong, the one in Berlin is not horrible, it's not bad. It's just that I was so surprised by how new and clean and fresh the public transportation in Leipzig looked. The trams, you need to see their trams. Their trams be looking like if trams had Bentleys. I exaggerate, but if trams had Bentleys and Rolls Royce, then maybe the ones in Leipzig will be the Rolls Royce of trams. So clean. I will leave a clip here just for you guys to see how the trams in Leipzig look. So the public transportation in Leipzig looks nicer, cleaner, better than the one in Berlin. That's how it is. Another interesting thing I noticed about Leipzig is that English is not as widely available as in Berlin, for example. So in Berlin is again the most international, most multicultural, most diverse city in Germany, and it has more people, so of course there will be more English available in Berlin. But in Leipzig, I thought, since it has so many it has a very big university, it has so many universities as well, I thought that there would be more English. Don't get me wrong, it's not like there is no English, there is, but it's just not, I don't know, not as widely available or accessible as it would be in Berlin, for example. So I observed that in many places that I went to, yes, they understood English, because sometimes I just get lazy and I don't want to speak German, and I started the German, then my brain is just like, not today, and then my brain switches to English. And I noticed that many people understood me, but they would answer me in German, which was perfectly okay for me because I understood everything they said. It's just that sometimes, like I said, my brain does not cooperate with me, and my brain chooses the day that we speak German and the day that we speak English. That's just a fact. And I think in a city like Leipzig, it will be easier for you to improve your German than in Berlin, because, I mean, if you're forced more, I feel like you're compelled more to speak German in a city like Leipzig than you would be in Berlin. So that's good for your German, because your German gets to improve if you are somebody who is learning German. Another interesting thing about living in Leipzig versus Berlin is that because Leipzig has such a young population, Leipzig is actually one of the fastest growing cities in Germany because they have such a young population, a big student population. There are many young people in Leipzig. I was actually quite impressed by the array of cultural events and activities for young people that they actually have. I don't know why I thought like they would not have as much, but I'm always using Berlin as a frame of reference for other German cities. They have quite an interesting number of activities, because while I was in Leipzig, I saw so many events that I was interested in going for, but then I got so exhausted after exploring the whole day. I was just like, no, it's not gonna happen. There's a lot of events going on in, I think it's Bastille or Bastille. Yeah, Bastille, that's how to pronounce the name of the place, very close to the University of Leipzig. There are a lot of events and parties and activities happening there. I saw a lot of like shows, adverts for shows going on, which was quite nice. But again, because it's so much more smaller than Berlin, it's nothing compared to what Berlin has to offer. So I think on this topic, Berlin actually wins, because again, Berlin is so much more bigger, has so many more people from all over the world, massive population. So there is so much more to offer in Berlin than in Leipzig. Another interesting thing that I observed, which I wasn't expecting at all about Leipzig, was that people are so much more friendly in Leipzig than in Berlin. I was so shocked because I wasn't expecting it, because I thought that this unfriendliness and impoliteness is an Eastern Germany thing, but it seems that's actually not the case. So people are much more, like, generally everywhere we went, the service was nicer. And they were not speaking English, they were speaking German, of course, which is to be expected. But I don't know why I was so surprised that people were much more nicer and polite. Wow, my expectations, the bar has been set really low by Berlin. Thanks, Berlin. But if you've watched any of my other videos, then you know that I already spoke about this, that the rudeness and impoliteness in Berlin is just on another level. And when you go to other places, you're just shocked when people are acting actually decent, polite. You are shocked by their friendliness. So on this topic, on this topic, Leipzig wins, because people are just much more friendly in Leipzig. That's how it is. Punkt. Another point of comparison that I would like to compare is the diversity in Leipzig versus Berlin. Obviously, again, Berlin is going to win on this one because Berlin is more diverse. But specifically, I want to talk about seeing people of color or foreign-looking people that do not look like what you would expect a typical German to look like. By that, I mean people of color, black people, brown people, people that are not, the typical what anybody would think German people would look like. But anyway, I was actually surprised. I saw quite a number of people of color from different parts of the world, black people, Asian people, different parts. But again, it's nothing compared to Berlin. It's just a fact. It's nothing compared to Berlin. But yeah, there are people of color in Leipzig. I saw them myself, and we gave ourselves the nod when they are black, gave ourselves the like acknowledgement nod. I don't know if other black people do it. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm in my own head and I don't even remember. I'm not really looking at other people in my environment. But yeah, there is a significant number of people of color in Leipzig, and I actually liked that. I really liked that. And one thing I noticed in Leipzig also, like, I did not get stared at a lot like in other parts of Germany, which is quite surprising. So in that area, I think Leipzig is actually quite multicultural enough that looking different does not require that everybody will stare at you because you look so different. So in terms of diversity, of course, Berlin is more diverse than Leipzig, but Leipzig also pulls its own weight in this area of diversity as well. Nobody stared at me. I did not look unusual because there are many people of color, black people. There are many black people in Leipzig. But one interesting thing I noticed is that once I pull out my camera and I start vlogging and I start speaking to myself, speaking into a camera, then people start looking at me. So it's not a person of color thing, it's more like a YouTube or content creator thing, like, oh my god, she's speaking into a camera, is she okay? I got that a lot in Leipzig. So yeah, that's just peculiar to if you pull out your camera and you're speaking to a camera. So to wrap up this video, I wanted to ask myself, like, I wrote this question down. Based on my impressions about Leipzig, if I had to choose between Leipzig and Berlin, which one will I choose? Honestly, even after writing the question and after preparing this the outline for this video, I still don't know the answer. Like, Leipzig has a lot going for it. I really had a positive feeling and ambience, and like I had a positive impression about Leipzig, but I don't know, I'm not really sure if I would leave Berlin for Leipzig, because I don't know, it's so much smaller, and I don't know, maybe because I'm just used to Berlin and it's easier to stick to what you're familiar with. If I had a reason to move to Leipzig, if I had a compelling reason to move to Leipzig, I would honestly consider it. But without that compelling reason, I don't think I would just up and move to Leipzig. But it's really, really a fantastic place. And I think it depends on the stage you're in your life. If I'm in the stage where I want to start a family, Leipzig will be a very good contender because I felt this more family friendly vibe. There were so many babies, so many young people, so many pregnant people, so many strollers being pushed around. So I would really consider Leipzig if I'm at that stage in my life. But for right now, Leipzig is a no for me. I think I'll still stay in Berlin. I don't know, let's have this conversation in a couple of years. Maybe my mind would have changed, but Leipzig left a very good impression in my mind, and it will be a very strong contender if I'm looking for somewhere else to move to in Germany. So, with that being said, I've come to the end of this video. I hope you were able to learn a thing or two about this video. If there is anything, if you're familiar with Leipzig versus Berlin, if you've lived in Leipzig or Berlin, or you've spent some time in the two cities, and there's something I've missed in this video that I did not mention, please leave it in the comment section, because we are all looking for information, and we want to learn and get perspectives on these different cities in Germany. So I'm looking forward to reading the comments that you leave in the comment section. And thank you very, very, very much for watching this video. If you watched this video up till this point, leave this comment. Let me see, what's the time? It's 2:19 p.m. so leave the comment. It's 2:19 p.m. let me know that you watched this video up till this point, and I love you very much for watching. Thank you very much. I can never do this love sign properly. I don't know why. Did I get it? No, I don't know. Anyway, I love you for watching. Thank you very much, and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you. Bye.